My poem Unlegendary Heroes came together remarkably quickly in the end. I had been reading P.J. Duffy, who was a geographer. I had been reading his Landscapes of South Ulster, which mapped all the parishes in South Ulster and all the place names. And I was up in Annaghmakerrig at the time, and I had the atlas with me. And I knew that I wanted to do something about ordinary women from my past. So at the beginning of this poem, I have included a short excerpt from the 1938 folklore survey, which P.J. Duffy refers to and reproduces in his work. What was noteworthy to me was that all the achievements, large or small, were attributed to men, and the ordinary achievement of women in local places went completely unmarked. So the poem which emerged from this, my Unlegendary Heroes, is an attempt to redress the balance, both poetically and, I suppose, fictionally too. Because although I used real townlands by which to refer to these women and their fictional names, they are all fictional, but even so, the activity and the labour was constant and significant and probably very real. And at the back of my mind, I was also thinking of John Montague's poem, All Legendary Obstacles, in which a man in some Midwest train station in the USA is waiting for the arrival of his lover. And Montague's poem is it's about what people do to overcome the legendary obstacles that can get in our way, let's say on the way to love, for example. But my poem is about what people do as they pass through places during their lives. It's about their daily rhythms, the unmarked, ordinary things, which to me are quite heroic. And nevertheless, as the poem's title suggests, they are also unlegendary because they may not always be described at all. Unlegendary Heroes. And I included, before the actual poem, I included some excerpts from the 1938 folklore study. And this is what it says. Patrick Farrell of Lacca, who was able to mow 1 acre and 1 rood Irish in a day. Patrick Mulligan, Cremartin, was a great oarsman. Tommy Atkinson, Lismagunshan, was very good at high jumping. He could jump 6 feet high. Edward Monaghan, Anna, who could stand on his head on a pint tumbler or on the rigging of a house. And so this is the kind of thing that the 1938 folklore survey was recording from local people who occupied the South Ulster parish landscape. And this is my response to what might also have been in it. Kathleen McKenna, Anagola, who was able to wash a week's sheets, shirts and swaddling, bake bread and clean the house all of a Monday. Birdie McMahon of Falkland walked to Monaghan for a sack of flour 2 days before her 8th child was born. Septa Duffy, Glennon, very good at sewing, embroidered a set of vestments in 5 days. Mary McCabe of Derrynashallog, who cared for her husband's mother in dotage, fed 10 children, the youngest still at the breast during haymaking. Mary Conlon Tully-Ree, who wrote poems at night. Assumpta Meehan, Tony Garvey, saw many visions and was committed to the asylum. Martha McGinn of Amy, who swam Cornamundon Loch in 1 hour and a quarter. Marita McHugh, Foxhole, whose sponge cakes won first prize at Cloncaw show. Miss Harper, Corley, female problems rarely ceased, pleasant in ill health. Patricia Curley, Corlat, whose joints ached and swelled though she was young, who bore 3 children. Dora Houston, Stranani, died in childbirth, aged 14 years. Last words, Mammy, oh Mammy. Rosie McCrudden, Ahabog, noted for clean boots, winter or summer, often beaten by her father. Maggie Trainor, Dona, got no breakfasts, fed by the nuns, batch loaf with jam, the best speller in the school. Phyllis McCrudden, Knockafubble, who buried 2 husbands, reared 5 children, and farmed her own land. Anne Moffat of Ena, who taught people to read and did not charge. And as a footnote to this poem, I've often noticed that when I read it publicly, quite often there's a certain amount of chortling in the audience for the first 5 or 6 stanzas, because I think people today cannot conceive of how people could possibly achieve such an enormous amount of labour. But this was true, and people did work like this. And then as I move more deeply into the poem, and they hear about the woman who saw visions at night, and the woman who wrote at night, and the girl who had a baby at 14, the mood changes. It's quite interesting, and I've experienced this many times when I read it.